Okay. John, first of all, talk a little bit about your playing days at UMD and how you ended up becoming a Bulldog.
Well, I was actually a walk-on when I came to UMD. I had gone that summer to the Air Force Academy. They were the only Division I school that had recruited me. And I didn't, I got out there and it just, I don't know if I got cold feet or what, but I just decided to come back and was not sure what I was going to do. And that spring, Gus Hendrickson from Grand Rapids and Mike Sertich had gotten the job here at UMD, and they found out that I was home and invited me down and said, we'll give you a chance as a walk-on, and if you make the team, we'll go from there. So I just wanted an opportunity and a chance to play and a chance to try playing the WCHA, and so not at the most, best story as far as choosing UMD over another thing, but they gave me an opportunity, and I was certainly going to make the most of it.
Looking back at your 4 years, what are some of your most cherished memories? What things jump out at you about being those 4 years of being a Bulldog?
Well, I think, certainly getting to know a great group of guys and being with a great group of guys. They've been lifetime friends to me, the guys I've played with. And, I don't get as chance, in my coaching career, I didn't get as much of a chance as I would have liked to stay in contact with all of them. But I remember that camaraderie that we had. And certainly as, got to my junior and senior year, and, we were ranked #1 for a number of weeks. I know my senior year is in the country, and just the big games and how exciting it was to play in the Duluth Arena. I mean, it was the crowd was always great, and what I like too is that the fact of being from Virginia, Minnesota, was that I always knew that somebody was there, and I'm not just talking about my parents, but friends, if they came down to the game, and it was always nice to see when you went back and you ran into them and they said, "Geez, I was at the game. Hey, you had a great game, and you guys are playing great," and that was really rewarding. It was a great opportunity that I had to play this close to my hometown.
And shortly after you finished your career, you wound up making the 1980 Olympic team. At that time, what did you figure your chances were? I mean, walk us through a little bit about that process, about the trial process.
Yeah, the trial process at that time was the Summer National Sports Festival, and every year before the Olympics, that became the tryout. So they invited 80 players from across the country out to Colorado Springs, and there was 4 teams, and what we did was we practiced and played games for, I think, 10 to 12 days, and then at the end had a bronze medal game and a gold medal game. And so that whole time, Herb Brooks was evaluating, his staff was evaluating the players, and I've often thought that I think there's certainly players, no matter how they were going to play there, that they were going to be on the team. They had proven that during the course of the year. There was probably a few players that maybe were going to play themselves on that maybe weren't on the original list, and then there's probably that group that could go either way, either keep themselves in by how they played or get themselves out. And I guess I always felt I fell into that group when I think about the tryout process.
And a lot's been chronicled of all your gold medal winning team and whatnot, but even back then or now, did you ever think it would have the shelf life that it's had that's lasted this long? Has this been kind of amazing for you that 30-some years later they're still talking about it?
Yeah, it really is. I tell everybody that it's had the shelf life of a Twinkie, I mean, it just keeps going. And certainly the movie Miracle, when that came out, I think it got another whole generation of young people seeing that and asking about it and keeping the interest. And it's one of those things that I found through the year that people that they remember watching that, who saw that, whether it was older people or people that were old enough to understand what was going on. It's one of those things that people tell you, yeah, I remember exactly what I was doing when you won that. And there's not too many things that people say that about over the course of history, and they always tell you too. They always say that if you just stand there, it's like, well, yeah, here's what I was doing if you don't ask. So it's been amazing, but it's certainly kept the memories fresh.
You played at this level, you've played professionally, you've coached at this level, and now you're a scout. What kind of advice would you give to current Bulldogs based on your experience? What would you tell them about college and what to look out for and what to make sure they do?
I would let them know that what I think is important is what you're doing at the moment. And to be a student athlete, you have to be in the classroom and you have to be preparing there as well as you have to be preparing to be an athlete. And I think that's one thing that would tell them. I think back to my first year as a walk-on. I mean, it was important to me to do as well as I could as a hockey player, and I probably let that slip a little bit when I first got into school. And so that's one thing I would tell them, and I would say that there's always room for improvement. I mean, you have to practice, and preparation is the key to success. It's not playing the games. The games is where you put that on display on the weekends, of what you learn during the week. So I think those things are very important, and certainly just you know, when you do play, I mean, don't forget to learn from the experiences you have on the ice, whether you win or whether you lose. I think sometimes young athletes, for instance, when they do lose, they want to be angry, they want to forget about it, and you can learn from those situations. You have to have an attention and awareness to what's going on, whether it's going good or going bad, because you can learn in those situations and take that into the next week and into the next games.
And finally, you've been a pretty loyal and active Bulldog alumni over the years, attending various alumni events, including this Hall Dare with Champions. Why is it important to you to stay involved in UB athletics?
Well, because I think of all the people that and I've mentioned this word a number of times, that opportunity, that people gave me an opportunity and took an interest in me at UMD. And I'm not just talking about the coaches, I'm talking about the instructors, the profs, everybody. And it's, you know, you were able to approach those people and they would be helpful. And I remember that, and it helped me in my 4 years here at UMD. And I think that's, you know, that's the thing I remember most, is like that these people took a genuine concern in me, and certainly in my career as a coach and all the different positions I've held in that realm, is that I've tried to do the same thing, is to let them know that I'm your coach, but I also am willing to help you. We're in this together, and I want to be able to help you become the best you can be.
Okay, thanks, John.